Yes, we have Flatzoid on the Flat Earth side, who is he's been on the channel a few times recently, debated me about gravity and about what science is, and I thought they were pretty good discussions. He's been doing a lot of live streams on his channel recently, which are actually very interesting to watch, and it's interesting to watch Flatzoid when he's doing his streams because he questions himself quite a lot, which is something you don't see a lot of Flat Earthers do.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Okay, sorry. Are we good to go? Right, I said before that this for me is all about honesty, and that's exactly what I'm going to mean. I'm going to be repeating that throughout the entire debate, the theme of honesty. This debate started with FTFE asking me if I would accept a debate with Flatzoid, if he was up for it on his channel. There was an email exchange you can see on the screen. The topic of the debate, you can see, was agreed. We would each bring 3 pieces of evidence for our, for flat Earth or for globe Earth. And Flatzoid said to me, we've got to define what we mean by evidence. So I, rather than get into a big argument about it, we just decided to settle on what you can see at the bottom there. Repeatable and reproducible observations or measurements that support or validate the idea that the Earth is flat, or in my case, the Earth is globe, without contradicting other world observations, right? That's what we decided to go with.
All right, Flatzoid, whenever you are ready, you have 10 minutes.
This is for my presentation, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to share my screen, obviously, but I did at least prepare something. Okay. First, we have to establish what we observe and how we interpret what we see. Our perspective is the main driving force on how we deduce the reality presented to us. From the age of having understanding, you are bombarded with a worldview that's foundations is rooted in having a perspective on life that is set to you. This means that you are shown images, art, and fed narratives of the globe that is reality. You are taught to just accept it, and what taught in schools and in institutions is just fact. You are not taught to think for your own and take logical deduction to what is presented as reality.
Have you ever heard the phrase, that sounds like the pot calling the kettle black?
When you open a book, you see a globe. When you turn on the television, you see a globe. You get songs of space and travel and fantasy way beyond one's imagination. You are conditioned to trust the government and to trust any authoritative figure. When you were in school, did the education system teach you how to think logically, or to accept the narrative based on the proposition that it is logic? Let's take a look at an example. When you are sitting, lying down, or standing at this moment in time, do you experience any movement of the ground beneath your feet? We are taken to a faith-based deduction on what we are taught, not what you observe. We are told the Earth is moving under our feet. We are told that we should not experience the movement because of its magnetic size. Is this what we really observe? When you look outside, what do you see? Do you see the sky moving overhead, or do you perceive the ground and yourself to be moving? You see, this perception is based on your programming. You observe no movement, but you just accept it to be moving. You observe the sky to be moving, but you just accept it as a trick of your eyes. It's the ground moving. Or you are not taught that it was the ground moving. You would even come to this conclusion. Would you come to this conclusion if you were taught it was not the ground moving? You are hardwired to follow the perspective prescribed to you without question. So this brings to me my first evidence for flat Earth. Yes, I am labeled the flat earther, all because of the flat Earth society. I tell you now, I live on a stationary horizontal plane. Even though we get all fed and controlled opposition narrative based on upward accelerating space pizza, which is nonsense, I boldly take the flat Earth stigma, all because I know I would rather trust my senses than trust the worldview based on faith rooted in a religion of Jesuits.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So evidence, number one, we experience a stationary plane. We do not experience the movement of the ground, but the sky above us. Now, the opponents will bring up man-made mechanisms like the focal pendulum to appease their correlations. This, unfortunately, is the puddle we sit in. The globe is based on faith and is trenched in pseudoscience, masquerading as science, just to fit the correlative bias.
But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Thanks, Bob.
Evidence number 2. The globe first has to assume after measurements are based off of a horizontal plane. We can observe daily that the horizontal is only optical and far surpasses the narrative of the set radius for the globe. We can demonstrate things vanishing bottom up on flat surfaces, hence on my channel many times and many others, with angles that are limited and other optical phenomena like refraction and so forth. It's all optical and can be shown to be this every day. The curve, however, must be geographic, and this is set physically. This means it has no room to change. As soon as you invoke optical effects that change the geometry of the so-called heliocentric model, you have thrown the heliocentric radius under the bus. Hence the black swan. Also note why my so-called 11 frames is such a devastating argument. I love when the globe defenders bring it up because it's a concession that the curve is not physical, but only optical. Hence, removing the inferior mirage is cry that I took away the curve. The measurements are then calculated into the globe from the horizontal and stationary measurements. So if it was a globe, why then would we first measure the stationary horizontal plane to then transform it into a globe? Why then would you require calculations like a Haversine formula if it was a globe? What is level? Well, when we look at definitions of level, we see it means flat, horizontal, no curve with no part higher or lower. Yet, we still find a contradiction creeping in some translations like the Merriam-Webster dictionary. After stating that it is flat, horizontal, and not curving, still at the end tells us to have the balls to level is a curve of the earth. If you do not see the contradiction, then I'm afraid you have successfully been indoctrinated. Places we observe to be flat. Large bodies of water at rest, like the Suez Canal, many, many thousands of kilometers of level water. Or how about the Nile River that flows only one direction, that is also level and contradicts having a new tangent going down from your feet at every direction? Or how about many salt flats or the railways that show no curve? Evidence number 3 would be the fact we have gas pressure. How does this apply? Well, simply first, what is gas pressure? It's the force exerted by the gas on the surface of a container, surface wall of a container. Now we get to the argument, but we have pressure gradients. Where is your container? That's so dishonest. We also get fed the spoon-fed of faith-based gravity. The contradictions of gravity faces the fact that it's never been anything other than correlative-based and is enough to point out something supported by natural law, which is flat earth-based. Flat earth-based is based on the second law of thermodynamics and doesn't violate it. Gravity violates that.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
We can demonstrate every day you require containment to have gas pressure, and we can demonstrate gas pressure gradients based on the behavior of gas in containment. Gravity is not seen as a force and thus invalidates F equals ma to compound the argument that it is a force held to hold gas down. I have yet to see any demonstration of gravity hold down gas inevitably. I, however, have seen the countless demonstrations of gas being brought in containment, then dispersing into the surrounding system. Well, I hope I made it clear to you that based on my perspective, that evidence is very clear why I say it's a stationary horizontal plane. I hope you really understood these statements and take deep thought into how you perceive reality, as it's all based on how you choose to be honest with yourself. Thank you.
So before we go up, we're going to have a look at our barometer and set it. So we've got 1012.5 hectopascals at ground level. It's going to be interesting to see what it's like when we're at the top of the birch. Then we change at the sky lobby for the second elevator to take us up to 154. Here we are on floor 154 of the Burj Khalifa, 585.36 metres. Absolutely astonishing. The air pressure has dropped by 64 hectopascals down to 948.5 with no container between atmospheric pressure down there and up here.
Okay, thank you very much, Catz, for lying out to everybody in. Yeah, tell me I didn't bring three things. I specifically said the three things that were labeled them 1, 2, and 3, if you didn't remember. But let's first start with all your misrepresentations. First of all, telling me, yes, you can see all those things on the globe. I'm not saying you can't, Baldy Catz. The problem is when you say they are physical and not optical, because hence why the black swan is there, showing it's optical. That's why I brought up my 11 frames debacle, because that shows you guys dishonest.
That's the funniest damn thing I've ever heard!
Also, remember you brought up that vertex thing, telling me I'm dishonest. Let's go and see what's the straight video I did exactly after that, just for Catz. Because Catz seems to ignore this. This video was exclusively for ranty dip correction. Should be actual, what I meant by right angle was the man holding the sextant. Oh, wait, what did you tell me? Then you show something like a comment totally taking me out of context. Why? Because you are dishonest, just as you shown. Thank you. Is that a right angle? Because the man is holding it. That was what I meant. So instead of misrepresenting me, rather show the truth. Also, you say we can't show the moon. It would be impossible on a flat earth. You might have to learn perspective, because that's the problem you guys have on the globe. Pay attention. This was 2 nights ago stream. I'm going to actually do an actual demonstration. Let's see. This should be the moon. You see that red thing there? That's a lid. That's see-through there. What's going to happen when I go to the other side of the so-called moon? Let's go. Let's move to the other side. Obviously, I'm just talking quickly about it, trying to get it in focus because it was kind of bad.
And it's almost like see-through there. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side of the globe. Which side is the red lip now, guys?
Oh, wait. Did it change sides now?
Lip on the bottom or the top?
Huh. This is explained with star trails as well.
There's the red lip.
This is the star trails debunk of you also saying it is impossible with that Earth. Okay. Thank you, Michael Kahn, for this video, because it's very simple just to explain it. Star trails, it's all got to do with perspective. He's standing along the road. He's waiting for the car to come along the side. Okay? Anti-clockwise. What's going to happen when, well, he's already gone past. Sorry, I have to go back to where he was. Okay, it's going past now. You saw it went from right to left, anti-clockwise. He just turns around, waits for a car to come again. Now he's facing south and not north anymore. What direction is the car coming from now, Catz? Let's wait for the car to come. This is such rudimentary stuff. It's the most simple things you could say. But you being a so-called science teacher, is supposed to know this. While we watch it, oh, now it went clockwise. So that debunks your so-called star trails.
Ridiculous.
This is what I was actually explaining, guys, because this guy is so dishonest, he doesn't want to explain what I'm explaining here. I am doing the math to show you how you got the 600 nautical miles per 10 degrees, because it's to the equator, and why the luminaries appear to drop because of perspective. He's walking 600 nautical miles away, which makes 80. There's the math for it. I'm not going to do it because I don't have so much time, but I do have this on my stream, very comprehensive, explaining this. Then I also explain it with the field of view, the reason why it appears to be dropping, because it follows your field of view bubble. You know, optics, that's how it works.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Okay, what else? Oh yes, calculations are not measurements. You're supposed to know this. My graph, which you misrepresented like I just showed. Lunar eclipses can work on a flat Earth too, because we see it as plasma. Can plasma regenerate itself? Yes, it can. Blackpool towers. I even showed Blackpool towers a while back. I think it was trying to see if I have the other presentation here somewhere. Wait, I put it at the bottom here, because I actually showed you how focal length can give the appearance of drop. Okay, it's not on this one. File open. If it's going to open. Oh, there we go. This, Catz, shows you to be totally wrong once again. Oh, shit. Sorry. This is a 12 millimeter, taking exactly the same distance, everything, 200 millimeter. Look at the difference. Look at the compression. Is it dropping in her background? Yes, it's dropping in the background. Why? All because the compression due to parallax and the focal length change. That's why we get Blackpool Tower, like it does. Very simple stuff. My belief in God is very apparent. I do, but that's not why I say flat Earth. I've only recently brought up God in a debate because I find it very interesting to debate it as well. There's a lot of my subscribers that are also faith-based, and so we chat about God. You taking that comment was total misrepresentation of what is the context. Maybe the people should go and read the actual thread. What else? Didn't bring anything at all, yet all I've done is bring things. I've even explained to you what it is. And again, your globe is science, pseudoscience, as I explained, not science. So please bring for me science for anything you've just presented, because you're claiming science, so it is your burden to prove by bringing science. Black swan is not repeatable. Yes, it is repeatable over and over because it's refraction. When you bring refraction up, it means it's optical. Why is the horizon behind the so-called oil rigs? That's because it's refracted, it's optical.
Well, duh.
The whole argument of the black swan is saying because you are changing Earth's geometry, you are throwing the radius away. You cannot have a refracted horizon behind a refracted oil rig. Do you get your problem here?
Oh, really?
Thank you very much. That's all I need for now, because that's all I can think about. Yeah. And I can also, wait, maybe I can show you observations of doing bottom-up obstruction, because you seem to forget every time I do this. Let's go look at my channel again, where I show bottom-up obstruction, where we do it over and over and over. Hence, I even show sun setting on a flat earth for Mattoon. Very weird how we get that right, but it's impossible on a flat earth. Explaining eye level and horizon on a flat earth. How much time do we have left? Look at that. They're showing it different things. These are all demonstrations I've actually done showing bottom-up obstruction. This one is a killer though. You might want to sit back for this one, Catz. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we're not going to play music, obviously. You see, this is just the one nut showing there. Just want to quickly forward a bit so we can get to where it's actually showing bottom-up obstruction on the flat surface. Very odd. Now, this is an actual aluminium flat bar and saying I'm dishonest. Rather, you stop being dishonest and showing you misrepresent and take things, pull things out of your ass. Thank you very much.
Hey man, you're black. You are too.
Okay, sharing screen. Now, remember, I show demonstrations of everything I claim. You have yet to show demonstrations. You only show pictures of stuff. But anyway, remember, just note what's happening here. You just said sun cannot set. You said things cannot go bottom up of obstruction in the distance on a flat earth. Please do pay attention. Now note, I'm keeping the light at exactly the same altitude, guys. You see when I started, the closest position was in the top. Is it seeming to have an apparent drop as it goes away in the distance? You know, like what perspective ascribes to happen? Now, as we know, when something goes into this, there's mountains, there's the sea with waves, there's dust, there's buildings, trees, and what happens? It occulted due to the angle that is limited between you and the so-called setting sun. Or in some cases, the boat going over the so-called horizon, because the wave that's closer has a larger limited angle. I've done extensive presentations on this just for you, Catz. So please do go and watch those presentations where I literally explain it with orthographic and perspective view. You see, it's exactly the same altitude, yet it sank under the horizon. Where how I can demonstrate this on a flat surface? Okay, now I'm going to change elevation. Can you see the compression? Can you see those backlights? Oh, wait, no, you can't. Why? Now, remember, they're all exactly the same elevation. Light one, too light at the back. So what's blocking the light in the back? Would that be the Rayleigh criterion and the limited angle because it's too acute? Well, Catz, you should know all about this.
Can we just pause that there? And go back to where you show the plasma.
What's that showing there?
Yeah.
Catz, what is that showing there?
Absolutely nothing to do with the moon. Could you just go back and show the plasma?
No. Would that be a frequency?
Awesome. That's amazing. So when it goes
a frequency?
A frequency of what? What are you looking at?
The energy.
What energy? Like you don't even know what you're looking at.
Energy into the system.
That is amazing. And show me the system.
But you just said it had nothing to do with it. Really
show me the system. Show me the system. Right.
Does that look
anything like the moon to you?
Look how it's moving based on that. Weird.
Does the moon do that? Does the moon do that? Yes or no? Be honest.
Is that part invisible and that part you can see?
It's an honesty test. Does the moon move like that? Yes or no?
No, because this is just an example of ion gases. I never said this was the moon.
Okay.
Can I please share my screen?
Oh, please do.
I'll share screen. I wonder if you've heard of this guy before.
I consider myself to be an ordinary, humble person who serves mankind with what man has striven for.
Remember, he was a heliocentric scientist.
From the beginning of consciousness, with truth and understanding of the world.
Uh-huh.
Now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory? Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated
I just don't know about the music. I just
to
want you to
various
talk.
scientists that the moon is not a piece of...
Yeah. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show. Okay, I'm just going to mute it though. But anyway, he's saying the moon is plasma. Okay. See, there we go. Very simple. If it's in like the listen, you remember this is supposed to be with the flat Earth model in the water. It's in the firmament.
Perfect.
So
Perfect replication, mate. Perfect.
I just want to say, guys in the chat, incredible. We hit 1,132 people at a peak. That is insane. I love you all.
And I just want to say thank you to all my people that's come in. We've hit about 95, which is my best ever.
Awesome.
So far. So
that is good. You know what?
Channel, yeah, brilliant.
Flatzoid, that is more than about 99% of people that stream on YouTube. So good job.
Yeah, so small channel, so I'm very happy about that. So thank you,
it's about 5 times as much as Nathan Oakley gets watching live. So
no, actually gets about 150 these days.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've had fun. What about you, Johnny, so far?
I've had. Why am I looking at my family photos?
I was wondering why. That's a hell of a beard you got going on there.
What are you doing, Flatzoid? Are you doxing me right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was bringing cousin Joe here, but he didn't really want to come. So.
Did everyone see my pajamas when I came in?
We did.
Yeah, you weren't on camera just then.
No.
I'm not wearing any trousers, so you know.
Okay, you can see my screen, Catz.
Oh, for God's sake, yes.
Okay, I'm showing you evidence, just like what your evidence of showing pictures. Therefore, Bigfoot is real, because that is the level of evidence you bring. You show a picture and make a claim that it's real. So I'm showing a picture of Bigfoot. Therefore, I'm claiming he's real. Debunk this.
Well,
let me ask. Okay,
hang on a second. The problem with your pictures there, Flatzoid, is that I'm sitting right here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's real.
Clearly real.
Okay, so we'll say this is cousin Joe. Can you prove this isn't cousin Joe, please?
I'll have a go at debunking that incredibly difficult point that you just presented to me, Flatzoid. What I will say is this: everything I showed you. In fact, can I share my screen so I can highlight what I mean? So it's all well and good saying, here's a picture of Bigfoot. Can you debunk that? Right? But here is, if we take ourselves back to the beginning of the debate, where we both agreed to, and here it is, repeatable and reproducible, and the key word here is observations. Now, no, I can't go out and see Bigfoot with my own eyes, but what I can do with my own eyes, Flatzoid, is see this. So I don't need you to say that's just a picture, because I know, and you do know that you could go out and see that, and you've already said it comports with what we'd expect. You know that we can see that. You know that we can see this. You know that the sun doesn't set like this across the sky, but it does go below the horizon. You know that we see stuff like this. So it's very dishonest of you just to say, I'm only bringing pictures. You know you can take your own star trails with a time lapse. You know you can see lunar eclipses yourself. You know you can be in the northern and southern hemisphere and see this. So, no, I can't prove Bigfoot exists because you've shown a picture, because I don't know that I can go and see him. But you and I both know that we can both go and see everything I've brought. Everything. So to actually be reduced to the point at the end of a debate where you're clutching at straws like that, I think just pretty much sums up how badly you've done and why you've lost.
Are we going to do closing statement now, or?
Yeah, I think we could do closing statements, and then I can do super chats if you like, and then I believe we're going to be doing an after show on Catz and Toon's channel.
Yeah, because I'm also gonna do super chats and then also a bit of an after show.
Okay. Right, so closing statements. Who wants to go first?
Catz can go first, it's fine.
Yeah, well, I think, listen, I think everybody is, if I can, I am sharing my screen. How long do I get for the closing? 3 minutes. Everybody's seen what's happened here tonight from the beginning to the end. there's very little to say. We've all seen it with our own eyes. We started off with the agreement we will both bring observations and or measurements that are reproducible to support our model of the Earth. Flatzoid has brought none of those. He's basically just said the Earth must be stationary because I've shown a car driving down the street, so that debunks, you know, star trails. He hasn't really said much else apart from that the moon might look like a blue bit of plasma in a bulb. And this is where I want to bring everything back to, where are we? To this. Now, I don't blame...
You're not sharing your screen right now.
Oh, God, I must look like a right idiot doing that. I thought I was being really cool.
Pajamas, Catz.
Well, they saw your face, so, you know, that's that.
Oh, that's horrific, then. I want to bring everybody back to this, all right? Flatzoid knows that the so-called science he's brought doesn't really have anything to do with anything he said. Everybody knows. I mean, it's not a secret. It's not a secret that what he said is absolute tosh. We all know that. We all know that in the chat. My one aim was to come here tonight and to get some honesty. And at least Flatzoid has been honest enough to say that everything I brought is what we would expect on an Earth, on a globe Earth. What he hasn't been able to show in any way, shape or form is anything that reflects a flat Earth. And I think when he goes away from here, he'll think about the so-called evidence he's brought, how it was so easily ripped apart, how his knowledge of the science that he was talking about in terms of frequencies and electrostatic frequencies and wavelengths and energies and all that nonsense, how easily that was ripped apart and how little he knows about the subjects he was talking about. Because deep down, he's religious, nothing wrong with that. I ain't going to bash you for being religious, not that I am, but I would never bash anybody for being religious, right? But it's all here. Science is only for nature and not for the supernatural. You don't care enough to educate yourself properly about the big things because to you, God takes care of it. You've got your idea that the Earth is flat because of God. Fine, keep hold of that idea. But don't go around pretending you know about science. You've clearly been shown tonight to know less about science than my wet shoelace knows about Pink Floyd. All right? Just have your beliefs and stop preaching stuff that you don't understand. That is my closing statement.
All right, Flatzoid, you have 3 minutes when you begin.
Thank you. Okay. Wow. How can I put this? He tells me I don't bring anything, yet what am I showing here? My video, my video, my video, my video, my video, all having actual demonstrations and mechanics explaining everything that he has shown ignorance to. Also, he says he knows what science is, and yet we haven't even chatted about science here. All he does is know he does not know what science is because we weren't even talking about science this whole debate. Also, he might want to reconsider actually saying he knows what science is if he cannot even know how to set up a hypothesis. Your whole globe is based on pseudoscientific reasoning. It's based on correlation-based, not causation-based, Catz. So you might want to reconsider. Also, next time, instead of telling me, oh, you show me debunking your claims with actual demonstration is not observable, repeatable, that's what repeatable means. I can actually go out and repeat what I observe. Hence why I have countless demonstrations and observations on my channel. So please do go up and you guys can actually watch me show presentations showing where I actually explain this stuff to you. Hence why I think he got totally thrashed, and that's why he has not even addressed gas pressure like containment. He ran away from the stationary Earth, and he totally ran away from level water. So thank you again for coming. That's all I have to say. Thank you. It was actually fun.
Tommy Gronville for 50 Nokia says, for Flatzoid, why did you use a bucket or whatever to hide your sun at sunset?
It was a paint can. I was just trying to prove that things can occult it when it has a larger angular size due to the angle towards the sun. So it's the same as just representing a mountain or a tree or a wave or something that has a larger angular size because it's closer.
Right, so to clarify, your claim as to why the sun sets is that there's always something in the way.
Because of the angle, correct.
Right.
Can I just say something on that?
Yeah, please.
Of course, because obviously wherever we are in the world, we can predict exactly what time the sun is going to set and what day the sun is going to set. And it changes, doesn't it? The time of sunset changes, you know, constantly. So if you're going to claim that the sun sets purely because there's something in the way, then why does the sun set, you know, why does the sun set so predictably and easily, whether it's over a mountain range or whether it is over flat water, or like, why is it so easy to predict? Like, no matter where you are in the world, it's not just some random something in the way, you know. And are you claiming there's like huge monster waves at sea that are, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, it's just when the angle gets too limited to see, then you have something that's going to be closer with a larger angular size than that limited angle. Therefore, it occults the sun. That's fair enough. It's just a minute ago you said that something would always block it. Yeah. And yeah. Based on angles. It's just something to do with angles, and we don't know how we can use that to predict exact times. It's just something to do with angles. Got it. Understood. Thank you. It's always angles.
Right. Next one, Pilo1408 for $2 asks, Flatzoid, where does the energies for the moon come from that change the frequencies of the plasma?
It was just speculation. But anyway, yeah, like I'm saying, it just could be electromagnetic forces above there, so you don't know.
But you couldn't specify where those forces would come from?
No, like I said, the only point I wasn't making, I wasn't claiming it. I was just saying, because he made a claim, you could not have this on a flat Earth. So I told him, based on a flat Earth model, it could happen. That's what I was also saying. Because there are flat Earth models that said it's plasma.
Okay. Earth is Life for $10 says, Flatzoid, do you agree with the straight line measured distances that are on Google Earth?
Yeah, Google Earth is a flat Earth map. Have you checked the elevation angles yet? It's
yeah, I have.
Flat, horizontal.
Whoo! Good Lord! Please, somebody clip that.
Yeah, and while you do that, actually go on Google Earth and go to the elevation angles, and you'll see what I mean.
JSS Tiger for $5 says, Flatzoid, do you know that frequency is to do with the number of oscillations of a wave per unit of time?
Yeah, energy. That's what I was trying to explain to him. It moves faster and it moves slower. Frequency, energy.
Right, and that change in frequency can make parts of the moon invisible.
Based on that, what I was trying to explain, yeah.
Makes sense, perfect sense.
Yeah, 100%. Timo Lynch, €5. Flatzoid, if you want about gas pressure without containers, please explain pressure gradients in atmosphere and liquids.
Very simple. It's got to do with gas behavior and how it behaves based on temperatures and volumes. Maybe go learn that in your gas law, because it kind of explains it, even though it's just yeah.
Yeah, those were all words, definitely. Connell Silver for $5. Question for us, Flatzoid. If the moon is plasma, how did we leave retroreflectors? Yes, and yes, they have been confirmed multiple times.
I don't know. You tell me. Like I said, I wasn't claiming it is plasma. I was just simply rebutting based on a flat Earth model, because he said his claim was it cannot happen on a flat Earth. So I used the flat Earth model to rebut his argument.
Just a couple more for you, Flatside. Megan Satanas, member for 25 months. That's more than twice around the sun. Get in. Says, Flatzoid, do you drink your own pee?
Definitely no. Okay.
That's a good thing. Because Nathan Oakley does. Earth is Life for $10 says, Flatzoid, do you agree with the measured straight line distances between Johannesburg and Sydney, which is 6,863 miles?
I haven't measured myself, so obviously I'll have to agree with it. Because it seems to be...
All right, well, that is all the questions for you, Flatzoid. I know you've got your own stream to finish up, so you feel free to leave. And thank you very much for being courteous enough to come and do this debate. I do appreciate it. You're showing the other flat earthers how to act. You're stepping out of your channel. You're coming and talking to other people. You're being relatively decent enough to engage, and you're not just threatening to stick your ball bags in people's mouths, etc., etc. So please keep up the good work, because it gives me infinite content to make videos about.
Glad I can help. But again, thank you, Johnny, for being on. Thank you, Catz. And thank you, Craig. Hopefully we can do this sometime again.
Fight the fly, 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 fight the fly.